This is the Bullseye Podcast.
Oh, it absolutely is. And it's a hot weekend. Nobody knows what weekend it is. Well, it's the first weekend in August, 2020. And it's boiling out. And I've not watched one sports event because I refuse. This is Bullseye on the Bullseye Network, on the Bullseye Podcast, on the Bullseye frequency of your life.
Everybody wants you. Everybody wants your love.
Hey, we are back.
Hey, you cut it perfect on that one. Good job. Right before that break in the song. I like it.
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
All right.
How's the summer going?
Pretty good. Hot. 10 straight days, 85, 90. I like it. I like hot. You know, I like hot weather.
I did not know that. Now I do.
I like hot weather. I like going to the beach. I was
Yeah,
just
right.
there.
Going to the beach, body surfing.
Yeah.
You're a real California
Catch my son's
type
fishing.
dude. Real California
Yeah, well,
type.
you know.
Well, you know what? I know one thing.
I like to do it.
Are you?
It's an art. It's an art form. It's an art form, body surfing. What?
Oh, it is?
Go ahead.
Art form?
Yeah,
you
it is.
surf with
It
a
is.
board or
I-
with your body?
I'm going to give lessons. Your body. You got to time the wave on the perfect curl. And you got to. It's just a certain instinct you got to have, and I happen to have it, and it's fun. I take them. If you notice, not too many people do it. You go to the beach, right?
Yeah, so
Well, you don't probably go to the beach.
no, I go to the beach, but you don't see people. Everyone has boards, but you go the old-fashioned no
I go to
board
the
way.
bed. It's funner, man. It's funner. Natural, you go all the way through. You feel your body on the waves. I mean, come on. How good can you get?
Is that a word?
My
Funner?
thing.
Is funner a word?
Funner, yeah. Look it up. Fun.
It's a word. It's
Funner.
funner. Funner.
Funner. Of course, it's a word. Come on.
It's funner?
Funner.
Never
Oh, maybe
heard of it.
funnier.
Is that a word?
No, fun.
Oh my!
It's a new word.
Well, let me ask
just
you a
invented.
question. Are you? I haven't watched one sporting event. This is a sports show, and I haven't watched one. I cannot do it. I cannot do it.
Why not? Why not? Tell me why not.
It's totally the annoying factor. Everything about it is annoying. Okay?
Everything about it. Well,
from
the
the,
action
from
is
the
same,
beginning, I don't want to
right?
get into it. From the beginning to the action, listening on basketball, all I hear is sneakers. Okay, like there's no.
Did they start the season? Right?
They
started
started the
right?
sean supposedly.
Yeah.
I watched.
Yeah, I don't even know.
See,
Yeah.
what kind of a
No
sports
idea.
show has no idea? We're the only sports show. We're going to label it. We have no idea, but we do know.
Well, I watch baseball. No, wait, I watch baseball. I watch the Yankees. I watch a little bit of it, not every inning, but I throw it on. I mean, because the action looks the same, right? I mean, they got a little crowd noise. They pump it in, they pump the sound effects in, so you could kind of escape and feel like it's a real game.
Yeah, when you
They
have
dropped out the seats in the back, though. They blackened it out. You see the Yankees? I don't know if you checked it out. There's no seats back there now. They put like a drape back there. Yeah. Yeah.
With the when it has it's the basic pitcher batter confrontation, and so as long as you have that, you have the game.
Right, you have the game. It looks the same. There's no loss of intensity. I mean, they make the good plays. I mean,
I just saw. Speaking of
they
good
put
plays,
the
I
crowd
saw this
noise in, so.
Mookie Betts on the Dodgers. You see that throw in right field he did? He threw
No, I
the
did
ball.
not.
Oh my God, he threw the
No.
ball perfect. He's good. Dodgers. Could,
Okay.
The Dodgers could win it all. They have a good team.
Well, there you go. You do watch
I
it
watch
a little bit.
I'm just kind of.
All right, I got you to admit it.
I can't watch Dick Van Dyke and Hogan's Heroes all the time. I got to mix it up.
That's true. Right? You don't want to be obsessed with Hogan's Heroes.
My top five is Gomer Pyle, Hogan's Heroes, Dick Van
Gomer
Dyke.
Pyle.
Yeah, My Three Sons. I'm really going after the classics.
Man, you're old-fashioned.
Nobody was better than
that.
Fred McMurray. He was a stud, Fred McMurray. He got all the young chicks.
My Three Sons, right?
Remember Fred McMurray? Right.
What was his show? My Three Sons?
Yeah,
Is that the
My
big
Three
show?
Sons. Robbie, Chip, and Ernie. Robbie, Chip, and Ernie.
You like those shows?
Ah, classics.
I didn't know that.
So let's get back into talking sports and what we want to do
please,
that's different.
please,
Yeah, we
please.
want
Get
to
me
do
away
it.
from that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah. Well,
please. Yeah.
Leave It to Beaver can
Okay.
only take you so far. When I was in my prime watching sports, NBA basketball, I watched one player that I still believe to this day there isn't one better at that position, especially when you go back and look at the highlights, and that's Pistol Pete Maravich.
Pistol Pete, my first hero when he was in college. I think I look like him. People said I look like
You
him.
do,
when I was
actually.
young.
You do. You got the hair.
Right.
You got the...
I had the hair. I was kind of skinny, had the
Right.
same kind of shot in a way, Yeah, I kind of mimicked Pistol, and he averaged 44 a game in college. So I mean, how could you not like that?
Now
right?
listen to this. I was watching something. Now, if they had the current rules when he played of the 3-point shot, he would
Right.
have averaged 57 points a game in college.
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, he would have been shooting more from out there, and I think he could add about 13 more points.
Yeah.
13 more shots. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's about right.
they adopt you. And so let's talk about his career. We'll let you kind of handle
He's
it.
a legend, right? He's like does his legend live up to the person? I mean, Pistol Pete Maravich is a legend. I mean, there's something about that guy, right? And there's something that the magic of the ball handling, the offense,
Absolutely.
the floppy socks, the socks. The father. His father was like coaching him in college.
Right.
I mean, it's quite a story. Pistol Pete, and I think he lived up to it.
I think
he
his
lived up
father
to it.
took the job at LSU, basically guaranteeing his son would play. So that's the reason he had
Right.
gotten that job, right? He
Right.
was going to go to
Right.
he was going
Right.
to go somewhere else, North Carolina State or someplace like that.
And I got him top 10. I got him top 10 college players. I don't think he's a top player ever because he was loaded with the offense. I don't know about his defense, but the offense was there. I think he was top 10 of all time. Other than the big three, Walton, Chamberlain, Russell, Kareem, Oscar, those guys. I think Pistol was top 10.
Yeah, he took shot. He would take shots falling into the stands and make them like regular jump shots. He would do like an outlet pass underhand and flip it up, instead of overhand.
Right.
He did everything unconventionally, but he was precision. Now, remember the game against the Knicks, 68 points. I remember watching that game.
That was, what was that, 77 about?
That was around
right?
77. That was 77
The
against
Jazz.
the Knicks. The Knicks had McAdoo, Dean Meminger, who else was on that team? I can't think of them right now, but those were the two big players. But he had 68 points. He didn't miss.
Yeah.
He didn't miss.
Yeah. That was. You want to hear something interesting? My first game I ever went to, I saw Pistol Pete play in person. NBA, Atlanta Hawks. I was in 6th grade. I saw the Pistol play in person.
Wow.
How's that? I saw a legend play in person. He had about 21, 25. I was thinking, as a kid, he was going to score like 40. So not that I was disappointed because 25 is pretty good.
Right.
But I remember that Lou Hudson was the kind of the star. And Pistol, came in as the rookie. I think that was like his second year when I saw him, and he wasn't getting the ball. And I was surprised. They were like kind of shunning him out a little bit. And I read about it later, and in the first couple of years, that's what they did to Pete because they were a little jealous that he got all the money.
Right.
And I mean, this is out there. And I remember being 11 years old and thinking, hey, man, they're not passing him the ball, And I was like disappointed because I want him to shoot every time,
Right.
So I was right on it, and there was a little jealousy going on with the Hawks. And Lou Hudson, who was the big star, and then this guy signs for whatever it was. I don't even know what the numbers are, but we could check it out. So I saw the Pistol play in person. So there you go, against the Philadelphia 76ers, 1972.
He then went to the New Orleans Jazz, right? And they had like
Went
no
to the
wins.
Jazz.
They had like no wins when he got there. They were like 0-15.
Oh,
They were
that
like
what
the
it was?
worst.
Okay,
They
well,
were the worst team in the NBA. They were an expansion team.
Well, they weren't good even when he went there, really, right? I mean, they were better.
Well, I got to
but
check on the records that he had for those. He only played 10 years.
Yeah.
He only played 10 years. All-Star team 5 times. 2 times
Now, do you
All-Star
remember
first team.
when he played with the Jazz that when he would score X amount of points, everyone would get like a Big Mac or something? They had some giveaway.
Yes, I
you
do remember
when he
that.
scored?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or when the Jazz scored so many points, there was some kind of thing.
Do you know he could have played for the Globetrotters? He would have been the first.
Oh, he was a
white guy.
Globetrotter type guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was offered.
Yeah.
He was offered a contract by the Globetrotters, and in an interview he said, everyone was kind of, I guess, jesting him about playing that type of basketball. Now, when did he die? 15 years ago? 20 years ago? He died a long time ago.
No, he died. He died age 40. I remember he was 40. So let's find it out. I got his.
He died in 80. He died in 88.
88. Okay.
20 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 years ago. So he said.
No, 88 was 30 years ago.
30 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah, 32 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 32.
Well, he was saying
were 30
the Globetrotter basketball is kind of like what basketball is today, if you think about it.
I guess it is.
It's
yeah,
all
they
spectacular
just bomb it up,
stuff.
shoot it. Right. The players are so good now. You can't relate to them. Like I can't. Like they're so big. The court looks so small. First off, when they're out there, you see WNBA. Check out the difference in the court size. It looks like it's just a bigger court, but these guys are so huge. The court looks so small, and they could do things I've never seen before. So it takes the fun out of me watching it. I cannot relate to these guys anymore. How about that?
Yeah, well, how about...
At least the old players, you felt like you could almost, you could relate to like a nice jump shot or, they make mistakes or they look human. These guys are just superhuman. I mean, they're huge. They dunk and, shooting from 40 feet out. Curry, with the ball handling. It's like they're too good. It's just kind of crazy.
So you wonder how...
I never thought I would say that.
How do you think Maravich would have done today? I think he would have done great. He was 6'5". He was 6'5".
Yeah.
He could dribble. He would dribble. He would head to the basket. There was a guy that would dribble with a straight line to the basket with all the machinations and maneuvers. He never went side to side. He went right to the basket. He
went right to the hoops, right?
Right to the hoop.
Right.
He was right to the hoop. He was.
And he was magic. He was magic before magic. He had that behind the back, between the legs. Behind the back passes, the fake. I remember he used to fake like passing the ball with his hand while the ball was in the air, and then fake it and then hit it the other way.
Right.
Stuff you never seen before. He kind of was like the Dr. J of what Dr. J did with ball handling.
Right.
That's kind of how I picture it. There was no one near Pistol until maybe. Who was it? Jason Williams, the guard. Remember, he was like close to Pete
for Utah,
but there was no ball handler like him. Yeah. Like think of it, like Frazier was more of a straight kind of guy.
Maravich could shoot.
He could shoot and could shoot deep, and he could, he could shoot from medium range too. Now these guys don't even shoot medium now. I mean, it's all 30 feet. 28, whatever the 3-point thing is, 23.8 inches.
Right.
Now, I mean, Pistol would go out. Unfortunately, there was no 3-point play. ABA would have been great. Oh, can you picture Pistol in the ABA? That would have been fun, right?
Wow, yeah.
I bet you never thought of that, right?
He was an ABA style player. He would have fit right in.
Yeah, with that ABA ball, with the shooting, and he would have probably averaged, his high average was 31 a game in that year you're talking with 77 with the Jazz. That was his high average, and he would have averaged, I bet, at least in the mid 30s to 40, like in the ABA, because they just like let him bomb him up. He would have had the 3-pointer. Yeah, that would have been something. 3-pointer in the NBA. Yep. I'm saying 38, 40 a game in the ABA Pistol.
Now, you were a big fan of the Celtics, or still are. So tell me about the
tell me about
the 1980 team. Now, that's his last year in basketball. He only had a 10-year career, so he was cut short. But the last year he played with Larry Bird.
He played with Larry Bird. That was Larry's 79-80. That was Larry Bird's first year. Yeah, he came in at the end. And it was a great fill-in for him, I mean, they didn't, they lost to the Sixers in the championship, and that was the year before. That was the biggest turnaround at the time. I think they were like 28 and whatever it was, 54 the year before. Then they were 60 and 22. That was like the biggest turnaround ever in one season, all because of Bird, and Pistol came in, hoping to take him to the finish, but they lost to Philly, and that was the end of Pete's career. I was hoping to go out with with a championship, but Bird and Pistol, Pistol had the bad knee. He had that big brace on, so he wasn't the same, but he had the nice shot still. He averaged. I got it right here. He still averaged 11 a game in like 19 minutes.
Right.
So. That's like a 30-point average on a 48-minute thing. So yeah, he was. I remember watching that. Yeah, they were just a little short though. If he would have hung on another year, they would have won the championship with him. But I think the knee was gone. And that was it.
He had some great All-Star games.
He was hoping to win. Yeah. He never won a championship.
Yeah, he had some great All-Star games though. Those are he really like let loose in the All-Star games. Remember the?
Yeah, well, back then they
That's
actually
when they were
tried,
good. Those
you know?
games. Now
They
it's
tried.
now
Yeah,
it's
you
LeBron
actually- yeah, exactly.
against what's his name? The guy what's it? Giannis. It's like stupid.
But it's no
the
it's now.
team
Now there's
LeBron.
no
Give me a break.
there's no defense. I mean, in All-Star,
East,
you watch
West.
the NBA All-Star game.
What?
There's no defense. There is
I
no
know.
defense in an
It's
NBA
hard to
All-Star
watch.
game. Well, I don't watch it now, but before they would just
I
like,
can't.
let them score. Yeah.
I'm still mad.
I may
Seton
not
Hall
watch the
season
game
was
this
cut
year.
short. What's that?
Well, I mean, do they cancel the college games? Are they still?
Well,
are they gonna
I'm still.
try to
Last
play?
year, Seton Hall was going to go deep into the NCAA's.
Oh, last year they canceled it, right? So then they were gone.
So
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, when's the NBA draft? We have no clue. What?
Well,
what
this is
players
still-
are they going to draft?
This is still last season, right? So I'm thinking it's
I'm
a new
lost.
season, but this is like the end of last season. So the draft, when the heck's the draft going to be? Because it would be right about now, right? I mean, it would be after the season, which is now. Now it's like during the
This
season.
is the worst. This is so confusing.
And it's 8 games. It's 8 games. You're playing like the last 8 games. They're going to knock out 8 teams. I think there's 8 teams in contention. It's some weird thing. There's like 4 teams that aren't even playing. They're like kicked out of the season. They just kicked them out.
It's just so annoying. Just the way it's set up and the sound of the sneakers and there's no crowd noise and a slam dunk and there's no. Now, imagine how annoying hockey's going to be. All you're going to hear is pucks slapping
and
the
the
skates.
puck.
That's
right.
it.
Right.
I'm like, forget it. Dick Van Dyke. I
Well,
can't.
it's like practice. It's like
get
practice.
annoyed.
It's like watching an NBA practice. With the sneakers. So I don't know. But Pistol, thanks for bringing him up because that brought back great memories. He was my guy. He had that he had the look. He had the look. And
I don't think I don't think people today know about him at all. I mean, he's not really. I guess true basketball historians, but he was great. And if anybody didn't know about him, go on YouTube and check out his highlights. Amazing.
You'll never see it. Still to this day, he's done moves I've never seen before. Back in 1972, So talking about being ahead of his time. I mean, that was. And you know what? Remember Red on Round Ball? I mean, Pete would be on that, and he would do all the ball handling tricks. I mean, that was cool back then. They used to do that stuff. Remember Red would
absolutely.
They do lessons, and Red with the Celtic uniform, with the Celtic warm ups on, And Pistol would spin the ball in his hand, and he was great at horse too. He had those trick shots.
Yes,
like
on YouTube, I watched him
and...
against Bob McAdoo. He beat McAdoo.
Okay. Oh, okay, right, yeah. He would be the ultimate horse guy, I would think. With all these tricky moves. But the NBA doesn't have that stuff anymore. I mean, they got the slam dunk and all that, but I like the fundamental stuff. Like Red on Round Ball. Have something like that.
Fundamentals. That's right. Fundamentals.
Fundamentals.
Chest passes. We used to practice it all day, right? Chest passes. The bounce pass. You point your toe.
Do 100 chest
pass.
passes, right? Do 100 layups.
Nobody does chest
now,
passes. No one does chest passes anymore.
No. It's hard to do, too, to get it right perfect, to have the release the same. Bounce pass, right? 100 bounce passes, 100 chest passes, 150 layups.
Who had the best?
Now,
Here we go. Who had the best outlet of any center?
Well,
off the rebound.
You always think of Wes Unseld in the
That's
70s.
right,
He had that to half court. I mean, I think Walton had a pretty good one too, didn't he?
Walton
the
was
over
real
the
good.
head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walton had the high. He held it high right on the rebound, and then kind of over the head, like no chest pass off the center, right? Even Wes Unseld, it was always high off the head, pass up, right? Like up to three-quarter court.
I used to like Wilt Chamberlain. He would take it like a softball, and then he would just like throw it.
Yeah, he would do
Chamberlain
like
was
the baseball
another
throw,
one.
right? Yeah.
Chamberlain was another
What about
one.
him?
He was insanely good. When
yeah,
he played
was.
with the
He was.
Lakers in the 70s, people didn't think he was a good shooter, but he was a good shooter for the Sixers, and he could shoot fall-away bank shots. He didn't just have that finger roll. He had those fall-away bank shots, too. He was amazing.
I saw clips of that. He would hit that thing, right? He would hit it, and he had like a pretty good little 13-footer, in there.
Right.
And then when he was within 8 feet, it was all over. I mean, it was just gone. It was just dunk. I mean, he would dunk it a lot. When he got it within like that little range.
Yeah.
It was like all over.
The dipper dunk.
And the rebounding. Yeah, he had a dipper dunk. I mean, and he had the look, and his rebounding was crazy. He would get like every rebound, it seemed. Like there was nothing he wouldn't get. Ran the court great. It was he looked cool with the Lakers. I like the way he looked with the yellow headband.
And he was
and
better than Bill Russell. He was better than Bill.
Yeah, well, I guess you'd have to say he was. I got the intangible things with Russell I get into. So, I mean, yeah, of course, Wilt was a better offensive player. He got more rebounds and all that. Russ got the championships and made the players better. I mean, where do you put that into the measurement? What if you had a guy psychologically that was so good that he willed these guys to win? There's got to be value to that guy somewhere, right? Say hypothetically there was a guy like that just had this magic in the locker room to get guys pumped up, and he came through with the big plays. Didn't put the numbers up, but he hit the home run, to use an example.
But there's some miracles. There's some miracles. Don Nelson shot. I mean, I know that was a little bit. Was that later? That was Russell was on that team. No, it was late after Russell.
Yeah, that was Russell's last year.
Before you got the Havlicek steals, the Don Nelson shot. I mean, how many more lucky things did the Celtics have?
Well, I heard Russell say that. He would say, "Look, I needed them too. I mean, they needed me to win a championship, but I needed them. I mean, it was then it comes down to the team game. Yeah, he couldn't do it alone. He needed all that to happen. And that's the big argument. But of course, you can't argue against the stats of Chamberlain. I mean, how do you argue against that? There's no way. The only thing with Russell is the championships he won. And if you switch Chamberlain to Russell, well, would Chamberlain have gotten the same championship?
Yeah. Hey, listen.
With Russell, so it's a great argument.
Well, they got close, many. His Laker teams got close. The 76er teams got close.
You know how you could probably tell is that last quarter on that last championship with Russell, when Russell played against Chamberlain in the '69 finals when they went head to head, and the Celtics. I think the Celtics had the worst, the lower team that year. They came in fourth place. They were getting older. The Lakers had the better record. You know how people say, well, the Celtics had the better team and everything?
Right.
Well, that was the year that the Lakers would have really had the better team. Check that out. Check the whole game.
What year is that? What season is that?
That was the 1968-69 season. So that was a 69.
How many people can remember that?
Wouldn't that tell you a lot? Let's look at that clip of Russell versus Chamberlain, and the Celtics won, and compare them head to head.
All right,
Chamberlain wasn't the same as he was in '62 when he averaged 50, but he's still in '69. He wasn't that old. He was, still pretty young.
All right, who's better, Chamberlain or Jabbar? Jabbar was better. Jabbar was better. I hate to say it. I think Jabbar was better.
I think he might be. Yeah. He was better. I'd never seen anything like this guy Hook in my life. That was just the greatest, to me, the greatest offensive weapon. Wilt was more powerful inside, I guess. Wilt, but you got to say Wilt was a better rebounder. He was a better rebounder, I'd say, right, than Kareem.
Yeah, and they had some classic matchups when it was Al's when he was.
I think Kareem would outdo him, though, right?
Milwaukee,
I think Kareem would outdo him.
His first year, I was watching on YouTube his first game for Milwaukee, but they had some duels, and Chamberlain said for the first time ever, he went to his teammates and said, "I can't guard him." Chamberlain said he had a hard time guarding him. He had more than that sky hook, man. He had a bank shot himself. He had a jump shot.
He went lefty. He had some moves like fake left, go right, duck in, come up. He had and when he was in the rhythm going across that lane with that sky hook. How do you stop it?
And he was a good foul shooter. Actually, he was a good foul shooter.
He was a nice shooter. Yeah.
For a 7-foot guy, he was one of the first centers who could shot decently. I think they always had the reputation.
He was a force.
Right.
Defensively, he was tall, so he was. I don't think he really took it to him when he was in there. He was someone to reckon with, and I noticed that too when I watched that first game he played. Like it was. I think these guys are even better than you think they are. When you watch them play, it's like, you know what? He was really unbelievably great when you really see it. He's just like they're even better than you think.
What about this?
Yeah, I think you might be right. Kareem might be over Wilt. Now that I'm talking about it.
Well, none of them beats this center. You ready? Tom Borwinkle.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Borwinkle was the worst.
What was he?
He jumped about a half an inch.
Yeah,
He jumped
he had that
negative
look
2
with
inches.
The Borwinkle, that look with the hair straight down. And he was
Borwinkle.
kind of chunky, right? Chunky, big legs. He had, if anything, he had like a little shot.
Played for
right? Didn't he
Chicago
have, like, a
Bulls,
little,
right? Tom Borwinkle. Right.
Yeah, the Bulls. They were like the mediocre team of the '70s, right? Every year they were like.
Who else was on that
44
team?
and
Bob
38.
Butterbean Love, Chet Walker.
Love was good.
Chet
Walker was good. They were tough. I mean,
All
now
right,
you're talking about it.
Borwinkle. Now, who else was on that team? Who did
I know
miss?
who they had. They had Norm Van Leer.
Norm
point
Van
guard.
Leer. Absolutely.
He was a tough ball handler, playmaker guy, and they had Jerry Sloan, the tough defensive guy at the other guard.
Yes, Jerry
who had
Sloan.
some kind of him and Frazier had good battles. He had some offense too. He could score. You know, that was actually a solid team. It's amazing they didn't go further in all that ever. I mean, they never made it out of the East.
They were enjoyable to watch, the Chicago Bulls. I really, in those days.
They were tough. They were tough, right? That was but you know what? They didn't have the center. Maybe that was the weakness. You know.
What was wrong with Borwinkle?
I guess he said good screen.
Wait, who is better, Tom Borwinkle or Billy Paultz?
Oh, I got to go Paultz. I think Paultz had the offense, you know. I thought you were going to say Dennis Autry. Yeah, he was like one of those kind of guys.
Was he a center or he was a forward? He had played for the Suns, didn't he, Dennis Autry? Or he played for a bunch of teams. He had the curly hair, right? Dennis Autry. Oh.
Right.
Bring back the old days.
Oh, man.
Kate Smith.
Yeah.
Kate Smith.
That was
if you met Kate Smith, this boy, she was like on top of the world with the national anthem. Not only is the national anthem buried, but Kate Smith went down for the count.
Oh, she's history now, right? She's they took her
don't bring her
down.
up. She's like, Robert E. Lee. And Kate Smith, she sounds like she killed somebody. She was a chubby lady who sang. Give her a break. Poor thing.
Careful.
Right?
Careful.
Ah, I loved Kate Smith. She sang the national. What am I being careful about? Kate Smith. I want Kate.
No, you're talking about her being chubby. That's what I mean.
Well, she wasn't that the expression "as game's not over till the fat lady sings"? Wasn't that based on Kate Smith?
Oh, is that who that was?
I think so.
She used to do the Flyer games, right?
She did the Flyer games, and then she did the Yankee games, and now she's like a persona non grata. She's her reputation's been buried. I don't know what she ever did, but her and Paula Dean, she's gone too. So who knows?
Right.
Kate Smith. So let's recap. Pistol Pete was a great guard. Tom Borwinkle was not as good as Alcindor, Jabbar, Chamberlain, or Bill Russell. And Kate Smith has been long gone, and she's now considered a disaster in American history. So there's the show.
She's history. She's gone.
Well, there's another great show, right?
Perfect.
You want to talk about more? What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about what's going to happen.
I'm good.
We're good. We are going to watch a little bit of sports, I think. I'm waiting for football. Yeah, right. I don't think that's going to happen either. So, hey,
I'm
get
going
that
to order.
phone.
I'll talk to you here. Whoa, it's a fax machine.
All right, here we go. And then that's the old theme song because the show's going to end because my contract says I can't speak 1 second over the 30-minute time. That's in the contract. So tune in again next time for the Bullseye podcast. And remember, the best is yet